What's up? Back with another Raw and Uncut for you with Josh, and this is my good friend Nate. And welcome to Live to Manifest again. He's another great speaker. I very choosy about who I have on my videos, and he's got a lot of wisdom, and we've just hit it off. We've known each other for like a couple weeks, kind of met in like a community of spiritual, kind of like-minded people, really good people. Just like a cool friend group, and I figured it'd be great to have him on. So, yeah. So, firstly, this is what I like to ask people: is like, what does law of attraction mean to you? Like, what does manifestation mean to you?
For me, well, initially when I learned about the law of attraction, I learned from that movie The Secret. They would say things like,
Yeah.
find a gratitude rock and
That's
and
my
like do
first
those.
exposure to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was life changing in a lot of ways. It kind of made for a lot more purpose in my life. So it brought purpose in my life to recognize that that's what was happening, rather than keeping my dreams really small and keeping them small.
Sorry to interrupt. Would you say that first exposure kind of set you on the manifestation, or did it kind of just plant the seed and you came back to it later? You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what it did for me. I didn't really grasp it fully, but I got a taste of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like being a kid again, and it was like everything in me knew that it was totally true.
Yeah.
So when I was working as a personal trainer, living with some friends, I immediately was into my hypothesis about it, or theories, my philosophies on the law of attraction. So I've always kind of been a philosopher in some sort of way.
Yeah.
So what I recognized later on, though, is that a lot of what was coming through me, I mean, a lot of lessons intertwined with it, like why I wanted to share with the people I did and all that. I kind of thought at one point that if I shared, that if other people kind of were on the same page and they saw that that's like how my reality worked, that it would maybe start moving quicker. Like there was just a part of me that thought like I need to like make sure I tell everybody about this. And it was kind of like,
are you saying you felt like the more you shared it with people, the more it would come back to you, or you're just so excited that you wanted to share it? Like
I was mainly excited to share it because I wanted
just kind of
other
pours
people,
out naturally, right?
Yeah, I wanted other people to benefit from it. And then there were times where I did see that it was helpful, and then I saw times where I was just like, I was put up against some of the heavy energies when I first was introduced.
Oh, kind of like resistance.
Yeah, like
where it's like you're face to face with your own blocks, like.
Totally, and other people even kind of bring them up. Like people would be like,
for
"Oh,
sure.
you need to make sure that you're a little bit less relaxed right now." Basically, they'd be like, "You can't just sit back and let things manifest." And there was a lot of truth in what was happening and what they're saying. And I remember just kind of being back and forth for a little while, and then,
I remember that was a big lesson for me too, is like when I first started manifesting, I had to like get used to a new mentality, because a lot of it was like, okay, if I want this like relaxed, happy life, I need to be relaxed. And when you look around at Western society, a lot of us are not relaxed, and we're used to like, oh, we have to work for it, you know? And law of attraction does require work as part of it too, but it was like, I was just going for the Zen vibe, and I'd just be so relaxed while everyone's stressed out, and I couldn't relate anymore. But that was a big kind of paradigm shift and adjustment for me, you know?
Yeah, it's like an initiation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like everyone's asking you like to do it their way because they'd be scared to do it, and it's like kind of asking you like, are you sure you want to think so differently that you're so out there and separated is what it seems.
And frankly, like, misery loves company. Not that everyone's miserable, but like, if they're not manifesting their full potential, there's that in the back of their mind. They're just not fully alive, and so they don't know their power. So
totally. It's like what dangers they're worried about would come to the surface if they were to actually stay a little more in their alignment. It's
That's
like what'll happen if I'm actually doing that kind of lifestyle, and like,
yeah.
and then that's where you kind of meet, if you're actually going to do it and commit, you actually get to meet what that energy really is, which is that discomfort.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that adjustment that you have to make within your frequency.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the other trippy thing is like when you embark on the journey, it's like you suddenly are like, oh, what if this happens? Like, what about this danger around the corner? Because you're embarking on the unknown. So that's something I don't hear talked about a lot, but except from people's personal journeys, it's like once you start, it's like you have to have that faith, like it's gonna work out magically, and it always does. And it's like the unknown is just the unknown for a second, and then you're in this new paradigm, and you're just like on that next level, you know, where you wanted to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, like in the teachings of Eckhart Tolle and different teachers out there, they say things like, let's see, you were just saying something about
The unknown.
The unknown, yeah, actually, good.
Yeah.
Good ear there. Yeah, the unknown and being comfortable with the unknown, essentially.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like all the teachings were, as I was learning a lot about it, they were all pointing from different
To
directions
the same
towards
thing,
the same
from
same
a different direction, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
totally.
I've found that for Jesus, for myself, like Jesus's teachings, you know, he's like my favorite spiritual teacher. But I personally feel like the church just misinterprets it completely. You know, he talked about faith of a mustard seed, you know, like you just have to have a tiny bit of faith. That little tiny mustard seed turns into a huge plant, you know.
Totally. That's a good example.
Thank you.
I remember I used to want to tell my parents that like there was so much more that was going on in their religion, and like Jesus says things like, "Lest your eye be single, your body be full of light." He's talking about seeing from the third eye.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's okay. That's another one that I haven't explored, but I'm glad you. Yeah, that's cool, man. I like that.
Well, and the mustard seed too.
The mustard
for
seed.
me, that's saying what this one spiritual teacher I had for a while. He was really like the one I would listen to the most. Bentino Massaro.
Oh, okay.
Personally, like different teachings that people emphasize, they kind of burn out for me sometimes. Where I'm like, okay, like now I can just move on from that. It was applicable, but he would say something about specifically. Let's see, we were talking about. Here we go again.
Jesus's
teachings,
and you burn out on different
teachings. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the mustard seed.
Mustard seed, yeah. Okay. So there was
cool.
a point where I felt
bells.
like there was something within me that was just screaming this lesson, and it resonated with me when he said it. And it was that if you get in touch with seeing things from the perspective of love, of the infinite creator that you are, the infinite I am, God, source, universe. When you're seeing things from that perspective, even for 0.25 seconds in a day, intentionally, it makes such a big difference in grounding that energy so that you can see things more openly.
It just takes a second. Like Abraham Hicks, who I really like, she'll talk about like you just need, I think it's 7 seconds, and she has an exercise for like 15, where you just visualize what you want and just be in that vibration, and then she says it just takes on a life of its own, and it's worked for me too. You just visualize for a little bit, and then it just snowballs. You don't need to continually be putting in the effort. It just takes on a life of its own, which is the beauty, kind of the interdependence, the co-mingling of the universe and you working together.
It's like you're just another entity or another creature in the sea, and nothing's separate. You've just dropped into that moment where the gratitude and everything is authentic.
And that's the beauty too that it's taught me, is like everything is mindset. Like we have all that we need right now. It's just about getting to that vibration. We can feel so much gratitude, so much joy, if we're determined to be on that vibration. And when we're on that vibration, because sometimes it's not just about visualizing what you want, it's just about being joyful, because that will get you what you want, you know? When you're in that vibration of gratitude and just feeling alive, like that's where most of my manifestations have come to play, is when I'm just feeling life, you know, just loving it and excited, you know?
Totally. for me, finding myself actually feeling like it was authentic, like I could get in that space.
Mhm.
There were times where it was a little harder, like
Yeah.
when I was dating a girl a couple years ago.
Mhm.
She and I both got really into the manifestation part of this whole dynamic of understanding the laws of the universe and
Mhm.
really channeling it all in. And at the time, it was like we were always trying to get out of our current situation, so there's a lot of stress.
Oh yeah.
So it was almost like
Mhm.
get grateful, and then things will start happening. And then it wasn't until later down the road, after we had split and everything, that I really integrated in that I would be doing these practices whether or not I'm going to get what I want. And yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like we just got to be doing it. I mean, it's all well and good to do it for your desires, and that's what I do. But it's it's like we do it no matter what kind of thing.
Mhm.
It just becomes what we do just because it makes us feel good, and that's kind of how to manifest. And I think like what you were just saying right now, kind of brought up a point for me is like. Sometimes when we're so hell-bent on getting exactly what we want, we're like, I won't be happy until I get it, then we're kind of blocking ourselves because we also need to be happy in the moment. We just need to feel that joy, and then it'll come to be because it doesn't always come linearly. There's like little steps in the path and,
Can't
little
expect it.
windy roads.
Yeah, can't expect it to be exactly how you wish for
Exactly.
it to turn out. It's like a lot of people when they kind of hear about law of attraction and then they hit that block where they hear different spiritual teachers saying like, that's not everything. They might even like try to just shut it down, put it away. And then there's some people that say don't rely on it completely. And it's like, it's really like, yes, you don't need work, but then there's the inspired action, which is also a manifestation too.
It's
It's
is,
like,
yeah.
Like when I put out that energy and I'm grateful and whatnot, the inspired action coming through me is so much what I'm looking for anyway. It's like the place I want to be when those things come into fruition.
And that's kind of when the manifestation comes about. Like it's kind of strange, and I'm gonna try to explain it, but it's like when you after you visualize you're called to that action and you think like after that action the manifestation will come, but the action is like building the manifestation because you're on that, you start doing it, you start doing the work, like that's how you get there, like it comes quicker than you think sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, people will say some things like, even in working out, being a personal trainer, I hear it all the time. If you just show up, that makes a big difference.
Oh, 100%.
Someone was just talking about that recently of getting more material out there on the internet to a friend. And she was saying how, like, if you just show up for an hour a day, no matter what it is, put one part of that project together.
Yeah, because eventually you'll be sitting there like twiddling your thumbs. You're like, well, I might as well get to work for 20 minutes out of this hour. And it's that little chipping away at it, sometimes it's, what do they say, swallowing the elephant bite by bite or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Eat an elephant bite by bite, So
I don't think you'd actually grow any muscle from it, but
no, it's just a saying because I am vegan and so is Nate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but not gonna grow muscle. Where do you get your protein? But it's little by little, and but that's the beauty is like you just chip away at it and it just starts coming together. But that's what I've learned is I've got to be okay with the chipping away and enjoy that process, and then it comes together and it's so freaking beautiful when it just comes to be, And imagine with all your like you set up so many of these events with this community, and it's like I can tell, like I feel like you must have manifested a lot with, or probably visualized, I imagine, with kind of, because I can tell you're so convicted on what you want, which I appreciate, like the men's retreat and stuff, which is really cool because that's not a very common thing, and the music and crafts night and everything, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
But I really imagine that you visualized a lot of that because it's very, I can tell you know where you're going with that.
It almost feels like all of it is visualization to a degree.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
why some people sound like that's all that it takes, but
Yeah.
because I mean, really,
Well, it's kind of true though sometimes
it
too,
is,
because
like, I mean,
it starts in the mind, you know.
Totally. I've been visualizing a lot of the ideas that I'm walking into now, and now it's a little easier to feel faith than it was before, but in the sense of like looking at everything around me, it's easy, but I don't even need the validation of everything I see in front of me. It's more like,
yeah.
I just feel it, and there's all kinds of different manifestations that happen to remind me that I find that completion within myself. And I mean, as much as I used to think also that the power of thought and manifestation was there was as much power to the negativity as there was the positivity, and positivity is just so much more powerful that if we are scared of the negativity actually outdoing the positivity, then that just puts more energy into that, distracts the whole process.
Exactly.
Over
Exactly.
intellectualizing manifestation is trouble.
No, it's true. And that's something I've realized too, is like sometimes when I'm like, I'll get in like the focus mode of visualization and I'm like, okay, time to renew my mind, so to speak, and like, okay, what do I want? Because like for me, it's like, you know, every month or so is a different circumstance or a different challenge, and it's like for me, it's about keeping the vision or making changes to it based on what's come up. But I'll get into that focus, and then I'll focus on like, okay, I don't want this anymore. Let me power through, like, but then I'm bringing back what I don't want in my mind when it wasn't when it wasn't there already, you know. So
totally, yeah.
It's
the dominant vibration sometimes of
that's been a
where
big
the headspace will
lesson
be.
for me too. I think I like with the water fast really helped me learn it, because when you're water fasting, you kind of have to be still. And I kind of realized like how much power there is in stillness, you know, and that lesson kind of stays with me today. So it's kind of taken off a different approach for me for manifestation.
Yeah,
So that's been helpful.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed there was also a stage where I went into some deep work with just being there for whatever part of me wasn't patient about the manifestation, and that was such a big part of it too. It's like, I mean, again, regardless of whether or not I get what I want, it's like that was what I was committed to, and it was like the just feeling like I'd be happier when this and that happens. Like I learned how to really sit and witness it and be with it, and that ended up actually just opening up the flow a little bit sometimes, just to actually like be there for that pain and whatever was part of the process.
Right.
And doing that regardless of the outcome, it's just what felt authentic to me. And I would see sometimes the flow would open up, manifestations would start rolling in, because I would just sit with things that were needing attention. And,
for
I mean,
sure.
nowadays the actions taking place are part of what is healing me, of course. Like, we want to do these different things, take these actions, meet these people, but it's like those things come around when we're ready, so that they can actually be your medicine too. Because I haven't had to really change everything I do. Like sometimes I'll think, if I'm like not sleeping right, and if I'm not drinking enough water, that's why I'm not in the flow.
Right,
or
and
if
then
I'm
you
like
get
smoking too
addicted
much
to the
weed or whatever.
micromanaging.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like that's the.
I can get caught in that
I must be
too.
doing something wrong. Why isn't
Yeah, like why
everything
aren't I on level 10 like I was? You know, I should be always on level 10, which isn't bad. I mean, being on level 10, yeah. Well, there's different ways to get to it, basically, like, you know. Totally. And sometimes it's not the micromanaging, but rather just the relaxing into it, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, it takes quite a bit of therapeutic talk. It's like having a mom and a dad within yourself.
Yeah.
And then there's a little inner child that's just like sometimes screaming, and
yeah,
you can
very
kind of
true.
look at your whole attitude spectrum with that. That's endless. Like, to be able to do that the rest of your life, basically.
Oh, for sure. For sure, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, like, I've been, like, my way of manifesting is, like, my inner child screaming, and I'm just trying to shut it up. You know what I mean? And I had to realize that's not always, like, I mean, it's worked, but like, I've learned more to listen to the inner child, like, okay, what's going on, instead of like, think positive, think positive.
Yeah.
Like,
What the
you
heck
know,
is
like,
this? What are you thinking?
yeah. Not a piece of shit. I'm
Yeah.
awesome. Like, like
And then like shaming the brain and stuff like that.
shaming the
yeah.
brain when, and that's the thing is the brain has habits, so it has like thinking patterns. So like even if you visualize your way out of it, it's gonna take time for those patterns to like change.
Yeah.
So you can't always just think yourself out of it. Like you have to give yourself patience and like, you know, love your inner child and stuff. You know, a lot of us have trauma that we have to like get to manifest, but also that's a part of the manifestation is the healing and coming out the other end of it, which can take years sometimes, like depending what's going on, you know. And
Yeah.
like I think that's a part of the process too. You're taking your good sides and your woundedness, you're taking it on this journey, and it's slowly like layers of skin are being shed.
Yeah.
And you're growing new layers of skin, and you're like, you're eventually a new person. Like Jesus said, you can't put new wine in old wineskins, you know.
Oh,
There's another thing that
I
I took from it is
That
like
makes
in being
sense.
born again, it's like you're visualizing this new life, this new person, this new spirit, like, you know.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
I'm gonna have to look more into the Jesus quotes.
Hell yeah,
and
we'll
how
have to
they're-
talk about that more.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I
that's really
love
cool.
picking it apart.
Yeah, that's profound.
It really is, yeah. It really is. He had some amazing teachings. And it's like when a Christian tries to convert me, I'll respectfully, but I'll clearly say like what I think of it. You know, like I loved Jesus, but it's we don't believe the same about what
Yeah.
what happened. You know.
Yeah, totally. It's like I have a connection to the verses in the Bible and whatnot. Like
Yeah,
if my parents
they're
talk
powerful.
about it.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh yeah, because
I'll be
you're
like,
raised Christian, right?
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
I'll be like, if my mom says, yeah, the Bible says da da da, like in concordance with whatever was in the context of our conversation.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I get what you're saying. However, like I apply it like this. It's a little bit more universal and.
Did they receive it well?
They just kind of, they just.
They're
pause.
like, I love you, but
Yeah,
you
just-
don't know any better. Or something.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like a pause, like in one ear and out the other. And
Okay,
it's like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna go there. And it's
Yeah.
like really, typically the topics where we're kind of like, I don't want to go there, or like a lot of them are the opportunity to actually kind of finish it, or like have a nice conversation about it.
Yeah.
Get that
yeah.
elephant out of the room.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
For sure.
yeah, it's a fun experience just in itself without having to worry about whether or not my parents get it.
Yeah, just like I get it, and that's
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
And sometimes it's just not. You know, people have different experiences, and you can't relay them to them until they have it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, for me, it's like, should I even talk about this or something?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes maybe I'm just being too muffled with my own expression, but sometimes I think it's just wisdom that like not everyone's ready to hear certain things. I'm not ready to hear certain things, and they're not ready to hear certain things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about, but it feels good, and it feels like a beautiful thing to have some kind of passion where you know you can help people if they're open to it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And I know you have a lot of that, you know,
Mhm.
with the community and manifestation and personal training and
They're
other
like
my
my
as well.
outlets basically to express those
Yeah.
universal truths.
Exactly.
And, I mean, especially through music, like conscious music and everything. I mean,
Yeah, the sound healing was powerful. I was made me
sound
interested
healing
in like listening to more of that. Like we had like a vegan meetup, and he did sound healing. We were out in the forest, and he had a didgeridoo, and we were just laying down, and our friend had an accordion.
A harmonium. Yeah.
A harmonium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like an accordion.
It's an accordion with like a keyboard attached kind of
Yeah.
thing, and we were laying down there playing the music, and it was just transporting me to like another realm. Like we were all like just zenned out with it. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with the proximity to your ear or something. I don't know, but being in nature and all that was a powerful combo. So
yeah. Well, and in terms of manifestation, something that was just coming in for me was I think a lot of people do want to, and we could talk about this in the future, but people want to know what really is manifestation all about if there's so much going on in the world and we want to actually see it change. Like, if you have these this type of perspective, how are you going to take action? That's what some people are worried about right now. And,
right.
And, I mean, there's definitely, that's like a whole other thing to dive into as far as like taking global action. And whatnot.
That's another thing that's come up for my manifestation. How can I help with this current situation? And the thing that I've learned is we need to, with manifestation, it's all about promoting what you want, not fighting what you don't want, right?
Yeah, which is tricky out
there.
A lot of people think
it is tricky because people are afraid. They're very scared, and it's only natural, and I've been scared, but fear is the killer of dreams and minds and spirits, you know. And so if we want to manifest what we want, you know, I tell people a lot of times when they complain and say 2020 has been such a bad year, or you know, some really bad stuff's gonna happen. It's like we're creating this future collectively. Everything that we choose to have in the future is what's gonna happen collectively. Like whatever we most vibrate on and visualize, you know. Do we want a happy future, or do we want doom, you know? Like it could be end of days this year. It's easy for people to think that, or we could come out at the other end learning a lot and being more in tune with the human spirit and what humans really need, you know. And I think this is showing us how much we need community personally, and health, of course, and self-sufficiency, because we've seen the government can shut down the whole country and put us out of work. So
makes you think you need them more too. It's like, oh, they're not giving us food, like they could cut off food supply, and then a lot of people who are totally dependent upon that are just going to freak out and not know what to do. And here we are in this huge situation, and you know, people are excusing fear and saying like a little bit is okay, like even though it's like obviously showing itself to separate us a lot. The big issue that we got going on around fear, I've noticed, is also that, I mean, people are trying to spread it to other people, and then if you aren't as afraid and you have something that questions that narrative that's around fear, then people are worried you might be leaving out something important. And it's like, come on guys, you're probably talking to the people that are most relaxed right now, because the most relaxed is like what you would be in like, or who you would count on in a real apocalyptic situation. Like if shit
very
really
true,
goes
and
down.
that's if shit really goes down, you know, people will start thinking, hey, maybe those guys that had a little different view on it, those guys and gals with that calm about them, maybe they were onto something, you know, because we're here freaking out, and panic doesn't help you solve problems, you know.
No, it doesn't. It should be like something short that you you can allow yourself to associate with it, but you don't buy into just associating with your fear.
Right.
Like I'll have moments, like even early on with this whole COVID thing, I had moments where I was like, should I be afraid? And I could kind of feel that pull of fear. And and I was like, okay, I already know that direction, and that it can spiral that way. And it's like the fear of also maybe you might be missing something. Like, what's that really going to do? Like,
right.
So there's not really anything around the whole COVID thing that's suggesting that you do anything but it being based out of fear, because it's like, just mask up, go inside, stay home. It's like nothing about boosting your immune system.
Yeah, that's the other funny thing is like, exactly like you said, like you know, we're just taught to wash our hands and wear masks, but no one, like, has anybody or are any health officials saying, like, start eating more fruits and vegetables, like, get more sunshine, because sunshine kills viruses. You know, like, nobody's saying that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they're just, I mean, the people that are thinking that, a lot of them have already been introduced to it, but you don't hear people looking out for their health more out of this. It's just fear. It's like, let's wear masks and that should be it, you know? But you got a powerful immune system inside you, which is able to fight off disease, you know, if you strengthen it.
Yeah. Well, in terms of this topic of law of attraction and energy, the actual laws of nature, like if you look at how they work energetically with your thought energy and your vibration, like why wouldn't you allow yourself to resonate differently, to vibrate higher or whatever, rather than just succumb to the global fear. And it's like not to say that if you vibrate higher or you keep yourself elevated, that you couldn't possibly get a disease out there or whatever, but you can heal faster.
You can heal a lot faster. And no, I agree 100%. When you're vibrating higher, your body's naturally more healthy, and I think naturally you're just going to be attracted to these high vibration foods like fruits and vegetables, especially fruits, you know, and raw foods and alkaline foods. But it's like wellness is like such a multifaceted thing, and when we have one, it helps us have the other, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, since we're talking a little bit on health, it's like really the law of attraction and your health are also something to consider. Like, if you're constantly, I don't want this to happen, then and that's the main narrative they're telling you out there.
Something of that vibration is going to happen.
They're telling you they're telling you to think like they tell you to, and it's all nocebo talk. And there are plenty of doctors that will say things that are just, they're feeding you like a fear even of things that are totally harmless. Like, that's nocebo. But placebo talk would encourage you to feel safe and that your mind is powerful.
Exactly.
And your mind and your immune system are tied together very intimately.
Exactly. So. And we're taught like just pop a pill, all these things that don't really heal you at the root.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, there's such an interesting relationship with food, movement, every type of medicine. Where the law of attraction comes into play, and if your energy balance is a little out of alignment, if you're, I mean, not to say like you try ginger shots to cure your belly or something, and then because you're out of alignment, ginger shots didn't work. It might be that your body's telling you to try something else. But you're still wanting to actually have some faith in there, and like like you have to. If you don't feel faith, you're gonna notice after you've already tried something that you really didn't have solid faith. You didn't truly believe it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's about really renewing that faith, keeping it strong. You know, keeping it strong. I like to say
failures make you feel like it's not working. That they just make you.
It's just a part of it. Yeah. If you're failing, it means you're trying.
Yeah. You get a good temperature check of where you really were at. It's like, I was actually giving a lot more energy to I don't want this to happen than I thought.
Exactly. I found for myself, like, I'll notice like when I'm failing more because I'm so focused on the goal. But all that can mean is that you're committed to this thing. You wanna make it work, you know. Where it's like before I embarked on it, it's like that's one of the reasons I didn't. It's because I don't want to fail. I don't want to like face my weaknesses and then strengthen them, you know, because that takes dedication. So.
Well, and sometimes people think weaknesses are wrong or bad.
Right, and that's just part of being human. We all start somewhere. We all have to learn, you know. If you're not okay with being humble about where you are, like you'll never get to where you want to be. Like you gotta, you know, there's no shame in it. So. Yeah,
absolutely. It's like we just went over flow and working with the inner child and that humility, and those all work together. I feel for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and another fun thing we could always get into talking about is the creative flow. Like, what's that like experientially?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because if it's rapping, drumming, whatever, like everyone's
Yeah,
got a
that's
totally
true.
different
And
story.
I'm so glad that I freestyled. Like, if you guys saw the video with Tobin and I freestyle a lot, and he came to the last music and crafts, or two music and crafts ago, and we freestyled, and I just like, I've been inspired to like write more and like freestyle more, because I've always wanted to do that, but now I'm just really like, I want to start writing songs and stuff.
Nice.
And it was, Nate helped with that, having that outlet. It's like, I almost forgot how much creative expression when you're really into it is like so healing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to feel it when I was a kid, and me and my brother would play. I'd play drums and he'd play guitar, and we just jammed to like metal songs for like 5 hours a day, and that would just be the therapy, you know?
Yeah.
So it feels good to like be back in that kind of
We used to
flow.
We used to give ourselves permission to really play
when
we were kids.
When we're
right?
kids. When we're kids, yeah, that's right.
We knew what we were doing.
And we need it just as much, if not more, as an adult.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. I've been in this place for the past few months where it's like I'm learning how to play more, and there's still sometimes a little resistance to playing more, and it's like everything still works out, get my bills paid.
It still happens. That's funny you bring that up, because it's been like that for me for years, and it's gotten better, but it's kind of like when you feel the pressure of these like obligations or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I can't play right now because I won't get it done. But it always gets done. Like, it's not just your effort, the universe is helping you out. Like, okay, time to do this, and it just flows if you don't stress about it.
Yeah, and I've realized, like, so this has changed for me, but like as I get down to the wire, as I'm getting near the end of the month, that's when I get like hyper focused, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, I'm gonna be moving more or whatever. I got the energy, and then I'll start putting in some good applied energy where I'm just feeling good. I'm not feeling good to manifest the money. I'm just like, I already know this is like where I want to be.
Yeah.
And whether or not I get the bills to pay it, I'm gonna detach from whatever it is that's making it so anxious to pay them. And then I get in this place where I like all the play I did throughout the month. It was great, a little bit stressful, and then suddenly I get into this place where I'm like hyper focused, and then suddenly jobs come in, and I got like a gig where I make some money, and then I've got rent where I can pay it, and then suddenly someone else is like, hey, I want to buy sessions, and then I'm like, okay, so I don't even need what I first got my money from. Now I have multiple opportunities to make sure it happens.
That's powerful. I've noticed that happening to me too. Just kind of like when I'm not stressing, and just randomly the money starts coming in, you know.
Yep. I'm ready to see my months transition. I mean, like, as much as I can talk about manifestation, I still see the ways that my life is changing and the direction it's going, and of course I'm always going to speak it into reality. Yeah. And I've just seen how the way that months go, I'm like, I'm ready for myself to be ahead, where I'm like playing and just making money throughout the month, and it just kind of rolling in, and
just having it flow naturally. That's definitely one of my big manifestations too. Is why I'm trying to work for myself eventually. I got a couple projects in the mix with that, and just to have more. That's one thing about this community. I feel like a lot of people here really do embody the work to live, not live to work. Like the people are just very, very joyful, and you could tell that they don't let the outside pressure stress them out too much. You know, like we're having fun, we're playing, like we're doing all these things. Yeah, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, a lot of like-hearted people in my community, and it's pretty fun how some people, you know, I'll meet them and they're all into their magic and manifestation and whatnot, and we'll kind of be chatting about it, and they'll just start to realize, oh, Nate's really into magic and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you should come and chill with my community, and they
isn't that
and then
cool?
when they actually go and meet him, they're like, oh shit, like he's hanging out with a bunch of magical people.
Yeah, dude, and that's what happened to me. Liana like introduced me to the group, and I was like, okay, I'll see what it is. It might be a little culty or something,
Yeah.
but like, I came and it's all just like chill people, and I was like, wow, this is kind of the community that I've actually been trying to manifest that for years too. Is like a community like that to just be around that kind of support and camaraderie and just joy and like good vibing people, you know, good vibing people with good values and good heads on their shoulders and stuff, and and it's cool. It's like you, like I'll just meet people randomly and I'll be like, oh, you should check this out, like and Tobin, you know, loved the group, and there's like other friends that I'm sure they'll be coming too, and it's magical how it happens. It seems like when it rains it pours, so it's like when there's a couple people that you're meeting, you're just meeting all these people, and the community's growing, you know, exponentially.
It is something about these times too, just not just everything that's happening out there, but everything's just coalescing in a way where it's really coming together. And I mean, for a while I've been aware of there being a global community essentially through the community I'm in, but now I'm really seeing everyone is magnetizing towards the community hubs, and they're growing and interconnected.
That's true, yeah. I can definitely see the need for it more this day and age, this time right now.
Yeah, and I mean, and that does go back to global health and society and everything, and that concern around action. And I hear it a lot, and a lot of people that aren't connected to community that are just like the whole world's going to hell, and it's like that's a projection of the world.
That's a projection. That's and it doesn't have to be.
The healing is it's happening.
It's happening. Like it's not going to hell. Like we're so resilient as humans, and plus like we're infinite. Like there's nothing that can make it go to hell. I mean, we live on this planet that sustains us. Like we're still breathing. You know.
Totally. And I mean, there's a way I feel that we can find ourselves seeing how our daily walk does serve everybody in some sort of way. We can send good prayers out to people that need it.
100%.
And make more inspired actions from those places, but just keep making ripple effects. And
keep making ripple effects,
like little ripples, talk to people one-on-one. And I mean, eventually maybe more people will start seeing that we really are making the change in the direction we need, where we're not going to be relying on this big matrix system, and maybe we'll actually start having doctors and firemen and everything in our own communities, and countries branching off something, whatever it is. It doesn't appear to be that we're getting it within this system that uses our ideas of like we're pro this and pro that, but they really instigate a lot of anti this, anti that.
Oh yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, can we use that system and be pro something and make it happen, or or is it set up so that you basically have to be anti something and you have to ask the system to do something for you that you should do
I think
yourself?
in some ways that is the case. It's very set up for low vibration type living.
Probably gonna dismantle itself.
I think it will. I think we're seeing it right now, honestly. Yeah. So I don't want to make this video too long. Do you have any final points? I gotta get back to my day job, but it's been awesome to have you on. Do you have like social media to check out, or any points or anything? So
well, I mean, live moment to moment. And know that we all are points of attraction, and some people are attracting different information from different sources. Just remember, you're the source, and there's a reason why you watched this video today.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you. And,
thank you for having me.
I'm choosy who I pick on, so on these videos, and so you're the perfect person for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. All right, peace.
Peace.